Okay, I think I'm started now. So Family Life Education. This program has been with Families Matter for 17 years now, because we merged 17 years ago, so it was there beforehand. And let me just, how do I, next one. Did I just move to the next slide, Michael? Okay, so they're parenting educational classes. So our classes, we choose them to be evidence-based or evidence-informed. We have designed some of the classes. Some of them we have paid for that curriculum. All the classes address stages of child development, especially with a lot of emphasis on healthy relationships and attachment, but also parenting skills, brain development, and strategies around behavior as well. So our learning materials, we often use class manuals. We have handouts for most of them, and we have had them translate. We don't have translated materials, but we have our materials in plain language. We use a lot of learning activities so that we can kind of engage in informal discussions. So we really want to support low literacy and ESL learners. So we want to have a lot of fun in the class as well. We have competent, knowledgeable facilitators. We have 17 facilitators that are casual staff that work throughout the city, and we utilize about 5 of our full-time staff here as well. People like Lindsay and Michael, who just presented, also deliver parenting education. And a really welcoming environment is what we're really looking for. So how that's affecting us right now in terms of where we deliver. Hubs, libraries, community resource centers, community partners, and Zoom. So we're just moving back into our in-person classes right now. So we're doing a lot of COVID checklists. We have our thermometers. We have masks that we supply. We're spacing people out, one person to a table, and we're keeping the numbers very low. So in very large rooms, we might have 6 or 8 people. We'll sit people together if they're family members only. From April 1st, we moved straight to Zoom programming, and since April 1st, we have had over 500 people take parenting classes this summer. I think there was a real need in the community for some sort of connection. We designed a COVID responsive 4-class, one about behaviors that children are experiencing, how to identify stress and anxiety in children, and how that might manifest, and for yourself. So that's been very successful. We've kept that going the whole time. So the Zoom, we are going to continue with our Zoom classes over the next few months. So we are going to start opening it up and giving people a bit of an option, but I think Zoom's going to be on the table for some time to come. Partly it's difficult to access. Some people with their cars or with transportation needs and babysitting, or they don't feel comfortable. And it's just a really nice option to be able to have for people. We have started, we're going to start a little bit of our work at our libraries. We have 2 centers, our Northeast and Southeast, that have large parenting spaces, but we're also delivering at the Southeast Community Resource Center. We will be delivering at Shaganappy. We'll be delivering some programming at the Cottage in Bowness when they open up. So there should be quite a few places for people to access us, and we have a lot of supports for people when they come to the classes. Daytime ones, we often offer childcare to remove some of those barriers, so that's a free, but they do need to come to our Northeast or Southeast because that's where we're equipped to be able to offer the childcare. We have a couple that might have childcare in the evenings. It's difficult for small children when it gets late, so that's a little harder for them. We have a lot of materials that are sometimes ready for the class. So if they are taking a Zoom class, we just email them the materials. If they want to pick them up, we'll print them off for them. Otherwise, we deliver them that same night. There's a few classes that don't translate to Zoom. Positive discipline and everyday parenting isn't ready for that. And our Be a Great Dad is more of an intimate experience, as is the Pretty Powerful. So those ones are internal. These are our multi-session classes that are kind of the cornerstones and address a lot of the 0 to 12 that we have. We have a lot of these classes are running right now. A lot of them are full. As soon as a class starts to fill up, we just put up another one immediately. So we really don't get into wait lists at this time. That might change in the future. When people take a multi-session class, they do get a certificate at the end if they've attended sort of the 9 out of 10 of the classes. We also supply them with evening, like participation acknowledgements in case they have to go to court or they need it for a social work or anything to, around the curriculum and what they're learning. Before our classes, our facilitators phone every participant and they have a conversation with them privately about their families, what they're looking for, what their needs might be. Not only does that help with the engagement and it really helps build the relationship, and at this time where it's quite stressful, we also have higher engagement rates for the first class. Because there are no fees for any of the programs, you can get a lot of drop off, and we find that this really addresses that. Parents can find us through this are a lot of the flyers and things that we do through our social media, so they can follow us on that. We also have an at a glance and our website is updated. For registering, parents can phone those 2 intake lines and talk to Michaela and Kaylee. They can register themselves just by going onto the website. And so if they phone intake, there might be a bit of a conversation to make sure that they're getting into the class that best meets their needs or the area of town that they live in. We also offer a lot of single session classes. So this is just an example of the ones that we are kind of having up right now. They're quite popular, but we also design classes. So if you are an agency and you're working with families, we would be willing to come in if you had 8, maybe 6 to 8 or 10 participants who wanted a class. I'd be really happy to have that conversation about delivering it on site to remove a barrier to participation of like sending some people somewhere else, you know. So if that's accessible in your agency, we can talk about the topic and we can talk about doing it in that particular way. These are just sort of more examples of some of our promotional materials. Class down there in the bottom, that's a real class. They're really happy when they're in it. When people come to a parenting class, our facilitators may, in the class, refer them to other programs. They might come into our class and we might decide that, you know, they could really use the extra support of home visitation, our postpartum program, our SYP, or the drop-in centers. So our facilitators will spend a lot of time talking to participants, and they're accessible after the program. They'll give out their cards. Sometimes people don't feel very comfortable asking their questions in the class, particularly through Zoom. It can be a bit off-putting, I think, for some. Curriculum specific to fathers, so that's kind of unique to Families Matter. We have our Caring Dads program, which is a preventative program around domestic violence and children experiencing it, and it's very in-depth. Michael delivers that. We have 4 facilitators working on that program, and that's been very positive. So if you would like to make a referral for that particular program, we just had one start up, but we have another one starting up, I think, in a couple of weeks. Be a Great Dad, again, we have about 6 male facilitators for this program. This one's very accessible, and it's, you know, the whole new relationship to being a father. What kind of father did you have? How do you want your family dynamics to move? We also deliver this at Spy Hill Corrections, at Fresh Start, and at the Dream Center. So we do internal. We can come as visitors if you have, you know, again, 6 to 8 fathers, and it would be more comfortable to deliver it on site at your location. I'd really like to have that conversation. And Papa Bears is our latest offering that we're having success with even during these times of COVID. Very small groups. They come on Saturdays and they get to space out in the center and have their own unique toys or Play-Doh to that family. The dads get to play. Then we have a singing storytelling circle, really big circle. And then we have a pizza lunch. So it's really been lovely. We've engaged a lot of the dads who started off in a Be a Great Dad or Caring Dads, and now they have a place to go. At this point, we're alternating it between the Northeast and our Southeast hub, a month at one and then a month at the other. And as it grows, hopefully we'll be doing it full-time in 2 locales and maybe a broader reach. Our dads programs, you can also see, this is just an indicator of some of the advertising that we put up for people to be able to reach us. So again, you can refer or people can self-refer. Additional funder support. We have another funder that helps us fund foundational learners, often with low literacy or multiple barriers to participation. So it would be some of these same programs, but we would have the facilitators would be staff who have experience on the home visitation. So these classes can be smaller and they can address lots of different issues, and all of them come with childcare. We also can help out with sometimes with cabs and with transportation and bus coupons. So that one we'd like to talk some more about. So that's an internal referral, and that also goes through our intake process. Separate from everything else with the FRNs, but we also offer GroupWise, which is a art and science of facilitating parenting group. So we take new to facilitation staff who want to lead groups in parenting education. It could be parent cafes, it can be curriculum based. We do not train on any particular curriculum, parenting curriculum. This is all about the facilitation skills. We're going to be starting this up first week of October. I think we have 3 spots left, and it is a Zoom class. It also has a fair bit of homework, so at least 2 to 4 hours a week of homework staff should be prepared for. And if anybody wants to talk to me a bit more about this afterwards or write to me, like I said, it's quite a lovely support for new staff. So more information to register. We have our 2 referral lines, our website if you want to take a look at the content of some of the classes, and our social media. So we put up all of our classes there. And I was fast. Okay, so I'm not sure if I have questions, if they're just going to come up on a chat screen. Chat. Ooh, look at me. Parenting from, I would like that parent education course.
The last one you talked about, the group.
The GroupWise. You know what, Darlene? I'll send you the flyer right afterwards. And if they're looking at it's a really great support for people who are just first interested. And sometimes our jobs these days have been like, you can go and you can lead that cafe, or you could do this. And you know, I think our staff need a bit of support in that way. Is this program self-referral? It's a professional development, so it's not an FRN. I'm just putting it out there as an extra for people who need that support. So it does have fees attached to it, and it is for professional development, if that makes a difference. Okay. So I will send out my email as well, and all of these are going to hopefully by the end of the day be on our website, so you can take a look back at them. And I'm not quite sure who was up next. Was it you, Darlene?
Yes, it's us.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to go off and go on so that I can start recording you.
But I need to be allowed to host.
You just need to share your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can, and I put on the screen share, I put multiple, so you should be able to do that.
Okay.